With so many options, why choose Arizona State University?
For me, the only online option was ASU because of the quality. Their faculty was really involved with their students and care about your personal journey. The dedication to my personal development from my professors, that's been extremely valuable to me.
Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online. That's a degree better. Explore more than 300 undergraduate, graduate, and certificate programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
You are listening to the Let's Chat Soon podcast. We are so excited that you're embarking on this journey with us. Let's Chat Soon is a space where we chat all things body, soul, and spirit, and how when you align all three, you unlock a full life. A healthy you is the best gift that you can give to grow the kingdom and to those you love.
Welcome back to another week's episode. I'm your host, Alexis.
And I'm Mackenzie.
Again, it feels like so much time has passed since we've been on the mic.
We have been batch recording and we are about to batch record a ton as well. But today's episode, you guys are going to get a lot from me today. Like, in terms of order of episodes not to listen to, the breakup episode would be number one, which that's our most listened to video podcast episode. So you guys take that advice really well. The second of which would probably be this episode, because I would be shocked if I don't cry in today's episode.
We've already geared up the tears. They're ready to go. But
if you read the title, this is our quarter life crisis series.
Which is so unfair because I've already hit the quarter life. We haven't even hit it yet.
I'm a baby.
And I'm about to turn over.
Listen, I will almost be there by the time this episode comes out.
That's true.
It's coming out next week. But
still,
I am almost 25.
You're keeping your birthday. I'm skipping a year. There's no way I'm turning 26.
You were 25 plus one.
Yeah.
Just
not yet. Chill.
Just mute the plus one.
Yeah. Plus one. I'm going to start saying that. When guys ask how old I am, I'm like, I'm 24 plus 1, plus 2.
Plus 2. I saw a girl do that on The Voice actually last night. I was watching The Voice and she's like, I'm 24 plus 10. People hear the 24 and are like,
yeah, 24. You look great.
Wow, you look great.
Yeah. I don't know. I got mistaken for a high schooler. I was horseback riding and the girl was looked like our age. And she's like, so are you in high school still? I'm like, yes. Yes, I am. I'm living my best high school life.
Living my best high school
life.
life.
Girl, I'm old. I'm 25.
Oh, man. I never get that. I always get that I'm 27.
Because you're mature. I'm a little spaz, I feel like, sometimes. I think it's the energy. I don't know. The vibe I give off sometimes might be.
That would make sense.
I'm just all over the place. Anyways, so I'm grilling you today. Kind of. We have a part 1 and a part 2 series, which we've never done before, and I'm excited because we have different mindsets.
We have very different perspectives on this of how I feel like we're both going through approaching or being at around the age of 25 of hitting our quarter life crisis, so to speak. And I feel like we're both kind of having these crises in life over totally different things.
Yeah.
Mine is because I miss who I thought I would be right now. And I am longing for something else.
And mine is I'm finally realizing that I want to stay where I'm at and I'm almost scared or not ready for the next step, which I've always thought up until this year, honestly, that I was ready for the next step, like you. And so I think, and you've lived in my position too, so I think we know each other's perspective, but we're not living in it the same time.
Right, exactly. This time a year ago, I wanted nothing to do with a relationship. I was like, I'm good. I love my singleness. I'm not in any rush to find someone. Yada, yada, went with that. And then now I'm kind of ooh, I'm really ready to enter the next season of life. But I'm not the kind of girl who's like, oh my gosh, I want a boyfriend. I want a man. I want da-da-da, whatever. I do, but I want my husband. I don't care about random men. I don't care about going on dates. The past couple weeks, people have asked me oh, are you dating? And I'm like, yeah. And people are like, great. So have you been on a date? And I'm like, no. They're you still talking to anyone? I'm like, no. Are you on the apps? No. They're like, okay, so what are you doing?
So what is it?
What are you doing? I'm like, I could care less to entertain a random man. I just want my husband.
Yeah. But you're open and you're ready for that next step. So you were open to dating. But it's it's not the sense of dating oh, I'm going to go on all these dates. We've already done that.
Right, exactly. I don't need that season again, which I thought I did when I got out of the relationship. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited to go on dates. I'm excited to do this and talk to a ton of random guys and all the things. And now I'm kind of I'm good.
Yeah. Which I'm the opposite. I'm like, I'm ready to be single. But also, I haven't had a time in my life where I've been single for an extensive amount of time.
Yeah.
Like, yes, I haven't been in a long-term relationship, but I was always either talking to someone or like holding on to a past relationship, like getting back together with my ex 10,000 times. So I think I'm opposite in the fact that like I am so chill being single right now, and I don't want to entertain anything or rush into anything. And I'm just ready to like live for me.
Yeah. And I had my 2 years of that. And
Yeah.
they were genuinely the best 2 years of my life. And I don't know how people walk into marriage without giving themselves that 6 months, year, 2 years. Honestly, I think the longer the better. It's such a great season of life. But I'm a little over it. But I think I'm over it in a weird way. Like I have been trying to mentally process my emotions around this for the past, honestly, like 4 months of, okay, why am I feeling this way? If I'm not just like dying for a husband, why do I feel this way? Like I have such a strong passion to want to be a mom and be a wife. But it's not even a strong passion. Like the passion is more to be a mom and a wife than it is to have a husband and have kids.
Yeah. It took me a few times of you saying this to like understand what you meant. But you gave the analogy like to me before of you have this spot for somebody. Explain that.
Yeah, I think I've always said, like, someone was asking me, like, do I fall in and out of love quickly? Have I not said this on the podcast before?
I feel like you haven't.
Okay, crazy. What do I say this on? No idea. I feel like I was telling family friends a little bit ago, they were asking me if I fall in and out of love quickly. And I was like, yeah, I fall really hard. But then I like get out of the relationship and I'm like, I don't know if I was ever in love with them. And I think I realized that I have this box that's for my future husband. And when I'm dating to marry, I just kind of put this box on the person I'm dating because if I'm dating to marry, I see myself marrying them. And then I give them the love that was only meant for my future husband and I extend that to them. And then we break up or something happens and I realize, oh, you're not my future husband. And it makes it very easy for me to move on because I know with 100% certainty that's not my husband. And I can put that love that I had, not even really for them, but the love that was in that box. And I just put it back in the box that's for my future husband.
Yeah. Has this always been the case, or is it like the fact that you have had serious relationships, they failed, and you've been okay, so now you know that like that spot is reserved, or was that the case from like your first breakup?
I think it helped, like it developed throughout I don't really know. I think that definitely wasn't the case with my first boyfriend. We dated for 5 years. Like there's no doubt in my mind that I wasn't in love with him. But I think with everyone else, like with adult relationships, it's always been like kind of that way.
I think it's easier now that we're adults and know more of what we want. It's not so much of like, I'm so like infatuated and so in love, and like the whole idea of being young and in love and just like running around. Now we're like actually seeing what it takes for it to be a husband and like knowing the qualities of that, which I don't think like we paid attention to when we're dating in our late teens and early 20s. It was just like, oh, I love this boy.
Right.
But like now we know like what it takes, what we need a husband to do for us. And so it's easier when you're getting out of relationships to be like, okay, well, that person didn't check those boxes. Like I wouldn't want that to be the rest of my life anyways. So it's like easier to detach.
It's so easy to be like, my husband would never.
Yeah.
My husband would literally never. So you're not my husband. Why would I give you an ounce of the love that I have for my husband if you would do something like that to me?
Yeah, exactly.
Nope, I'm good.
Yeah.
But I think it's not even necessarily the person. Like, yes, I think that as of right now. And that's why I'm dating to just have a boyfriend and not dating to find a husband. I want to look at someone and be like, oh, I'm falling in love with you as a person, as my boyfriend, not my husband, because I don't think I'm ever going to be able to truly fall in love with someone for who they are and not give them that box that is my future husband if I don't just look at someone and say, hey, I'm falling in love for you. I'm falling in love with you as my boyfriend, not as anything you could be in the future. But I think this thing that I'm walking through now, honestly, has so little to do with that and has more to do with the fact of me personally. I was at church this past weekend and we were talking about kind of like being unsettled in the season of life that you're in. And I'm definitely in that now where I want to be in the next season so badly, like so badly. And I'm walking through, is this a desire that's okay to have? I feel really guilty for having this desire because it makes me feel like I'm not living in gratitude. And I was reflecting on that after church, being like, okay, am I just a really ungrateful person? And I looked at my life and I looked at the way I carry myself through life, and I'm like, actually, I'm really grateful for the season of life I'm in. I'm really grateful for even things of like, oh, I have to live at home for a month. That seems super embarrassing. I'm not even remotely approaching it like that. I'm like, I'm so grateful the fact that I get to go home and cook meals for my family and spend time with my brother, and like every aspect of life I'm so grateful for. But I think it's more I miss the version of me that I thought I would be by now. It's not even the life that I wish I had, because I love my life and I'm so grateful for it. But I want to meet that version of me who's giving out love, who's a mother, who's a wife, and I can be patient for it, but I have that desire so innately in me. And certain times it literally just hurts me to my core that that's not me yet.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think in the deeper way, but also even in relationships, not even the most serious ones, I just really love myself in love.
Yeah.
And I feel like when I'm in a good relationship, I've definitely been in bad relationships. Certain friends are probably listening to this and be like, no, Mackenzie, you're not that motivated when you're in a relationship. That was when I wasn't dating the right person. So thank you very much. But when I'm in a good, I wouldn't say great, because if they were great, they would have stuck around. But when I'm in a good relationship, I am the most driven version of myself. I am the best version of myself. I extend love so easily. And I want that version of me to be and exist 24/7. And I don't think that can, like, it can exist when I'm by myself, but it's amplified because I love love and I love being in love. So it just carries within me through life.
Yeah. I've seen that with you. Like,
Mhm.
we haven't been friends for years. So it's just funny because, like, I haven't seen you in these, like, long-term relationships, or, like, the past ones that we've talked about before. It's, like, only stories, but, like, the short, glimpses. Like, I've seen that, like, version of you come out, which is cool. But also I've seen you being single, obviously.
Mhm.
And all we do is talk about, like, how much we love our life and, like, how much we're grateful for these opportunities. So I agree with you. Like, I don't think it's coming from a place of being like, oh, I wish I had this. Like, I'm going to hate on my life now. It is just like, I know I want that and I'm ready for it almost.
Mhm.
Do you feel like the reason you're motivated when you're in that good relationship is because you kind of almost see the hope of being the mom and being the wife? And so it's like, oh, I'm going to work extra hard because I know I want that. And it's like you almost see the light at the end of the tunnel of like,
Yeah.
that's so close. So that motivates you even more.
100%.
Yeah.
I make more money when I'm in a relationship too.
Yeah.
Always. Every single time, because I see that life, like I get a little glimpse of it. And again, this is why I struggle to just date a boy as a boyfriend and not be like, oh my gosh, you're my husband, because I get a little glimpse of that life and I'm like, oh my gosh, I want that. But
Mhm.
I don't feel like I've come out of any relationship bitter or angry, at least not recently, of, oh my gosh, well, you crushed my life and it's soul crushing. It's, oh my gosh, you inspired me in so many ways and I'm so grateful for that. And I take what I learned from those relationships. And I feel like post this last relationship, I have surrounded myself with guys who are motivating and who are career driven and in a good and healthy way,
Mhm.
which then just like inspires me to be that way. I don't know, because it's weird, and this is probably again so niche, because it's like being in a relationship also inspires my career, but I also want to be a stay-at-home mom ish.
Mhm.
Whatever that looks like. Probably won't look like just staying at home and never working for me, but it inspires literally every aspect of my life.
Mhm. I don't think it's very niche. Like, I feel the same way. It's different, but I feel like I attach when I do meet a guy that I like, oh, he has the qualities of my future husband that I want. Like, I could see it. It's not that I know him yet, so it's like very premature. But I do attach myself to like that idea of marriage, and it's almost I start thinking about what can we build together,
Mhm.
and that's what like spirals into like the motivation for me too.
Right.
And I feel like a lot of girls are the same way.
Yeah. I also crave partnership over anything too. So I
Yeah.
think that's why even outside of a relationship, like literally us being each other's freaking contact line for the past couple of months, it's like,
Mhm.
oh, I'm almost like latching myself onto you instead of a guy being
Yeah.
like, okay, great. Now we're going to build something.
Mhm.
In the same way that I'm using this friendship, a lot of times I can use relationships to do so too.
I do the same thing. Yeah.
And it's like certain people would probably be like, oh, well, you're dependent. No, I just hate building things alone. And
Right.
I hate doing things alone. And that's totally fine. It's not because I can't. I can. It's just so much more fun with people.
So much more fun. And it's like, yeah, it's like I just don't want to do it
Mhm.
alone. Like, it's not, it's like you said, it's not that I can't it's the desire part versus
Yeah.
the actual will.
But this is such a weird thing to voice because I struggle trying to, like, everything about me embodies someone who wants to be a wife and a mom. Like, there's a lot about me that just, like, kind of characterizes who I am. How the heck am I supposed to voice that to a man
Yeah.
without scaring him the heck away? And also, I am someone who, like, grew up on, like, one of them girls who, like, drinks a beer in a bar and, like, could not care less about men. And that is, like, naturally who I am.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't give a crap about a man unless you're my husband. But also, like, I've got to give a crap about a man if I want a husband.
Right.
So
It's like
where do I find that balance of, hey, let me show you how passionate I am about these things? And I've had guys be like, oh my gosh, you seem like someone who would be the perfect mom. You've kind of made me realize I'm not ready for anything serious yet. Oh, you told me you broke up with your last girlfriend because she wasn't well equipped to be a mom. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I think it's just about we've been dealing with men that they don't know what they want. Because
Mhm.
someone who says that and then says they're not ready, they truly just don't know what they want.
Yeah.
Like they aren't ready. Even if they say they broke up with their last person because of that reason, like if it's right in front of you and everything checks out and you're still like, "Ooh, not for me." That's a them thing.
Or men just don't like to be challenged, but that's my hot take.
True. I think too, like it's the art of letting them still chase you, like not giving
Yeah.
like not giving too much, but also it's hard because like, okay, I know exactly what I want and I have these like not boundaries, but like I have these expectations. So like how do I give that to you to let you know that, but also let you chase me for that?
That is so what I struggled with in my past relationship because I came into it saying, here's what I want out of life.
Mm-hmm.
And then they were like, you're putting too much on me. You want too much out of me. And I'm like, no, this is me saying I want this in
Right.
life. I'm saying I want to be married. I want to have kids. I want to raise healthy kids. Yes, I want to do that maybe with you, but if I'm voicing that when I'm single, hello, I am so single. I've never been more single in my life. And I'm voicing this on a show.
Yeah.
I will voice the same exact thing and have the same conversation when I'm with a man and I just yap. So like I'm normally like just talking about this in front of a guy I'm dating.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, oh, well, like you want a lot from me. I want this
I'm not
in
saying
general.
it's you. I'm saying this is the vision I have for my life. This is what I want.
It's not like you came in my life and I was like, oh my gosh, I want to have your babies.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Sir, no. I would do that on my own
Yeah.
if I could. But I believe in having a good father for my children.
Mm-hmm.
Sue me.
I feel like this is just new too because I don't think our parents or like grandparents had to deal with this.
I'm not supposed to be in this generation.
Yeah,
I
we've
fully
lost
believe
the
it.
traditional like. It's almost like these men act like it's shocking that we would want this. Like, do you know that's in our DNA? Like, this is literally how our bodies were made. We're women. We should want this. And it's almost like, I don't know, because I've had the same thing. Guys tell me like, too much, too soon. Like, that's why they leave because they're not ready. And that's fine if they're not ready. But like, it's almost perceived as like a bad thing that we do want it.
Like that is what we were made to
We're
do.
literally
Women are
designed.
nurturers. And yes, women have had to pick up a lot of masculine traits. And I hate that. And honestly, that's a lot on men.
Mm-hmm.
That women have had to pick up those masculine traits because, again, someone like me who walks around, I'm like, honestly, I don't know if he's ever going to come. I believe he will, and I like trust the Lord's plan, but also I have to pick up these masculine traits of being the provider, of being the one who works hard, of being the one who knows how to change a tire, of being the one who knows how to do everything because I don't have a choice anymore.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, people used to get married off super young. That's not necessarily the case anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So now I have maybe even more masculine traits than I do feminine ones. I don't want to.
Right.
I would love to lower my masculine characteristics, but
I think that's why it's such a battle in society and like why we have so many problems with like this internal dialogue and like debate all the time because it's literally like we were designed to do this, but because of how society is going, we have to act like a man and that's not like true to who we are. And so then we feel guilty, we feel bad, we feel like we're acting out of character, we feel like we're crazy. Like it comes with all these just like, okay, what? Like I'm just confused now.
And I think too, going back to the health aspect of it, females weren't designed to pick up all these masculine traits.
Right.
So our bodies are going crazy too. And then our hormones are reacting to it. And then we're going wild. And it's like, oh, our cycle's thrown off. Oh, this is happening. And it's like,
Can't have kids. Like,
can't have
literally the
kids.
fertility rates.
I literally think it's because we're picking up all the masculine stress because females aren't meant to carry the same amount of stress load that men do.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, but we do it every single day. And
the same amount of stress, but indifferent. It's like raising a family. Like,
Raising-
that's stressful, but that
bearing
would
children.
be so stressful to a man, but to a woman, like, that's in us. We know how to do it. So it's like,
that's what our bodies are made for.
Yeah, it's
whereas
not
our
that stressful
bodies,
to us.
whereas our bodies aren't made to carry this insane workload every single day of the month.
Yeah.
Hello, during our menstrual phase, we're supposed to literally rest. Like that is what is best for our bodies.
Mhm.
Yes, I agree. We
yeah.
have this power dynamic where we're going back and forth being like, okay, who's supposed to do what? Roles are reversed. And yeah, I agree. I think, yes, biblically, traditionally, but also in our DNA.
It's
and I
literally how we were designed.
I think that's going to come out in studies and it's going to offend a lot of people when it comes out that, yeah, females aren't meant to do these certain things. But now there's studies of females' brains are like, it's been known that they develop, I think, 2 to 4 years quicker already. But now so many men are playing video games and watching porn and all these different things. And I know women have our issues too, but with our brains maturing faster, already men's are declining a lot. So I think it's like 2 to 1 of women who are actually going to college. And it's, I think I saw on a reel on Instagram of a pastor speaking on it, it's 7 to 1 of women who are in church, and it's 2 to 1 of women who graduate college to men. And like the numbers are insane. And it's like the way that men are supposed to be leading, they're not leading. They're supposed to be the provider. They're supposed to be the leader of the house. They're supposed to be the Christ to the bride of their bride in the church.
Right.
And that's not happening anymore.
Why do you think it's not happening? Like, I have my theories, but I'm curious, like, because I don't think this was this big of a debate and a problem when even my parents got together. Like, do you think it's...
I think it's a lot of things.
Okay.
I think it's, I mean, if you want to talk about health-wise, it's probably the crap in our food that's bringing up the estrogen levels. If you want to talk a spiritual issue, it's sin. This is just like the new wave of sin attacking, of the rise of the feminist movement, honestly not being a feminist movement, being a masculinity movement more than anything else. And just being even on the man side of things, of them being more feminine too. Like, I feel like that's a big thing of now men wanting equality. It used to be a fight of females wanting equality with men, of wanting the opportunity to work, wanting the pay raise, all the different things. Now I feel like it's almost men wanting equality in the home.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Or not even in the home. Actually, erase that.
In the home too, though, I think.
In the workplace. They're wanting women to maintain the kids, keep the house clean, do all the things, and then also have an equal salary and pay the bills. Yeah. So you want us to do it all while we're operating on a 28-day cycle. While we bear your children.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, we could go on and on with that topic, that rant.
Okay, but okay, go ahead.
I'm glad you brought up even like the health portion. My mind didn't even go there. I think that's so valid. Our food, the chemicals, literally altering our brain and our bodies. My first thing just jumped to like the societal, but I think that all stems from the health, the war going on, like sinful nature.
Right.
And so in turn, we have this society like pushing us one way, media pushing us one way, and we all just like fall into it. Yeah. Oh, it's crazy.
It's like, what is the definition of a successful woman? How have we defined it? I think I should maybe ask men that.
That's a really good question, I feel like, to lead with on a first date.
Yeah.
Maybe not even a first date, but like when you're dating, like get their idea of what they think a woman should be in the home. That will tell you right there.
I'm going back on a dating app and I'm having this be my question. Like,
ooh, that's a good one. Yeah.
I'm just going to do it just to see.
I think also there is a lot of men out there that still want that and still think that. I don't know if I don't know. My serious relationships were all when I was younger too. And so I think it's just different because their men aren't thinking that way when they're 21. I haven't had a lot of experiences like now that I'm a little older.
Yeah.
So.
I was having that conversation with my mom because my brother's been in a serious relationship for 5 years. And I was complaining about the dating pool in your 20s and 30s. I don't know. You date older, or I date older at least. And my mom was like, well, that doesn't make sense because like your brother and all of his friends, whatever. And I was like, yeah, but they're still in college. And it's so accessible in your 20s to have as many women as you want, or vice versa, to have as many people as you want, to date around, to do literally whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, well, you can do that in college too. And I'm like, yeah, but college, you're still in a little bit of a bubble. Once you step into the world of dating in your 20s, it is insanity.
Mm-hmm.
Like genuinely insane, especially we're in West Palm. So like, I feel like we have a insane view being in South Florida as well. So ours might be a little hyper, whatever the word is there. But yeah, it's just different because I feel like when you are young, you are in a bubble of like, this is what this is how this goes, and this is the order and timeline and whatever else.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we both fell victim to that in a lot of ways too, of being in serious relationships that almost or did lead to engagement. And it was like, oh, if I would have known what life in your 20s was like, I would have never even considered or held these standards or done really a lot of things that I did.
Yeah. And I think like people that are younger that find their person, like it's not like a luck thing, but like they were just meant to find their forever person at that age.
Mm-hmm.
And some people just are not. Like, I don't know. I just don't think we've found that person yet.
Right. This is always the question I feel like I get hit with, or I'll see it all over social media of like, okay, if God planted these desires in your heart, is he going to grant those desires? I know this is not a desire I want to have. Honestly, me at my core, I feel like I want to be the workaholic. I want to be the girl who's like making $1 million. And I think I kind of go back and forth sometimes of I want a girl boss and do all of these things. But I honestly think the desire that was placed on my heart from the Lord and the thing that I go back and forth with is wanting to be a wife and a mom.
I was going to say, like, maybe the desire to do like the girl bossing thing all comes from like the outside.
It does, which makes it so hard for me to understand because I'm like, okay, I haven't been given the husband now, so I feel like I need to pursue all of these quote unquote worldly things.
Mm-hmm.
But then like, what is my other option? Wait around? No.
Right. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know the answer to that. And then I think I have a lot of people too be like, well, Mackenzie, you're just idolizing it. I'm going to be honest, guys. If I was idolizing it, I would be with a certain couple of different people and married by now.
Yeah, because, I mean, let's not be dumb. We could go out tomorrow and get married.
Mm-hmm. I could find a husband.
There's been offers, but it's not what we want.
Right. And I think I literally come back to book of like Genesis 15 every single time when like Sarah and Abraham are like going back and forth all of the time of, okay, God told us and God gave us this desire to bear children. What the heck do we do with this desire? They were being so impatient. And I say being so impatient. I've been waiting like 3 years. They waited 25 years. You asked me to wait 20 years. God, please, please. I'm like, not please. Taking that because I don't want you to be like, haha.
But
No, thank you. But I read that story back and forth so many times and in line with saying like, oh, I could go out and like marry someone random. And I think that would obviously be walking outside of what you want for your life, but also like what the Lord has for you. Mm-hmm. But I think when you have a desire so strong, it is from God, but the enemy tries so hard to use it of, I'm going to take that desire that you have and I'm going to convince you to go sleep around and get pregnant. Mm-hmm. Or I'm going to convince you to just like marry the next best guy, like, and settle and do something else. And that's literally one of the first stories in the Bible where Sarah literally looks at her husband and goes, go sleep with someone else and bear a child. And then that child obviously was not what the Lord intended. And even in Sarah and Abraham's doubting, he eventually did bless them with Isaac, their son. But she had this struggle with God of, you said you were going to give me this thing and you haven't.
Yeah.
What the heck? And the growth that happened was the growth in the waiting, which sucks to hear. And again, I know I'll look back on this and be like, oh girl, like you learned so much in that and you grew so much in that. And even the past year of my life, I can look back and be like, ooh, the man I would have settled down with a year ago is not the kind of man I want at all right now. Yeah. Like even in terms of the health stuff, I tell my family friends all the time, I'm like, I'm so glad I've learned this health stuff before I got married because I could not imagine marrying someone who doesn't know or doesn't care about this health stuff.
Or doesn't want it. Yeah. There's people that just don't.
Could you imagine?
Yeah.
And I feel
the same way.
And I feel like there's so many more things I can learn within these seasons that I'm going to see it's the same way. I'm so glad I learned these things before I met my husband, because now I have the standard and we can agree on these things, and I've developed into a person that I love.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And it's like easy to make yourself feel better with like, okay, I know the idea is that there's still things I have to learn, you know, whatever in this waiting period, but I don't think it makes it on the day-to-day any easier to sit through it. Like, it still sucks.
Yeah. Oh, I cry every other day.
I told her, I'm like, I'm giving you a cry limit for Asia.
Yeah.
And you're not allowed to exceed. But I understand it. I think I used to be way more like you. Like, I literally made a pact with my best friend that's a guy that, like, if we were still single by the time we're 26, we have to get married. Because at 19, 20, I thought that, I'm like, for sure I'm going to be married by then with kids. Like, there is no chance. Like, 26 is so old. And, like, it wasn't really until I got out of this last relationship that I'm like, I talked about marriage and kids with him so much that I think that almost not pushed him away, but I think it made him realize he wasn't ready for that. And getting out of that relationship, he's a great guy, but I would not want him to be my husband. Like, and I almost settled for that. Like, and this isn't the first time. I mean, I'm on what, like 3 long-term relationships? It's just crazy.
Yeah, if I would have married my ex.
If I would have went through with my first engagement, I always say that. I don't know why it comes out of my mouth like that. If I would have went through with my engagement when I was 19 years old, like I've said this a million times on the podcast, but I genuinely believe it would have been a divorce. Like, there is no way it would have worked.
Yeah. But again, it's something conscious we literally have to do. And I do this every time I start like spiraling and crying over it, of like, you know so much more now than you did even a month ago.
Yeah.
Like, you are still growing so much, and you're so blessed. We're so blessed to continue or to not meet our person until later on that growth.
Yeah. Because there's people that meet somebody, if it's their person or it's not their person, and they get in a relationship, they marry, and then they realize down the line that, ooh, maybe that wasn't their actual person, but they're already married to them. Right.
Like, we're growing in different ways. I also think I'm such the kind of person who loves to build with someone like you, and maybe that's our flaw here of...
It's 100%. Like, when you say that, I relate to that so much.
Yeah. Of like, yes, we want this person to be in partnership and marriage, but we're also probably going to want this person to be in partnership business-wise.
Yeah.
So it's like, ooh, maybe I need to become more who I need to be health-wise, business-wise, because that's where we're going to build a business together someday. So I need to become more affirmed in that. So not that I have something to give, but so that I have something to bring to the table, and I have like opinions that I'm firm in before he comes in with his creative ideas and all the different things.
Yeah. Yeah. Because also I think when we're talking about that, like, I've done this before in relationships where I kind of know what I've wanted in the past, but then when a guy comes in with his plans, I attach to his plans. And I'm like, yes, let's go. Because I want to build something so much. If he already has an idea of something, it might totally not be what I wanted for my life. But it's like, oh yeah, like, let's do it. I'll help you in this way. I can do this. We can do this together. And I just like run with his idea of building his life and builds all of his goals. But I think it's because I was never strong in my foundation of what I truly wanted. And so it just gets so messy. And then that's why when you get out of a relationship like that, you feel so lost. And like, I just lost everything, because you lose your boyfriend, your partner, you lose your life plans, your life goals, your identity. What the heck? Like,
we're so similar and so different.
I know.
Different ways.
Yeah.
Because you're speaking that and I go, oh, I just had the opposite realization, where I've always had guys attached to my goals and my dreams, and me being someone who, like, my main dream is to stay home with kids. It is really frustrating to me when guys come into my life, and like, honestly, guys, I have a really good business brain. Like, I will just start yapping about whatever, and I'll come up with business ideas probably every other week. I don't use most of them, so if anyone wants some fun business ideas, let me know.
You just sell them off.
Literally. But I will just start talking about things, and then guys will be like, oh my gosh, yeah, let's do that, let's do that, let's do that. And I'm like, oh, don't touch my baby. Like, this is my business.
Yeah,
like, you're just a random boy I'm dating.
Yeah.
And they try to latch on to me. So I probably need to go and build something before they latch onto it. So then it is my baby. Because like some random man's not coming in and touching my baby.
Right, no.
Absolutely not. Or like shifting what I want to do. Like the last relationship I was in, I was kind of in this pool of like, do I want to do travel things or do I want to just like push everything into health? And I had kind of been going back and forth with that for a little bit of like, which do I want to go into? And I knew he wanted me to go into the travel stuff. Like he wanted the perks of me traveling. He wanted to travel with me for free. He loved that lifestyle. He thought there was a lot of money in that lifestyle. Newsflash, there's not. But I was kind of trying to figure out, and it was like the second we broke up, I went full force into health stuff. I didn't give a crap about travel. And I didn't realize how much like maybe even his like little like thoughts and opinions actually played a role. And then we broke up and I was like, oh my gosh, I have such clear direction.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of had the same thing with this last relationship. But it was in a different way than I expected, and I think I'll get this more in part 2, like when I talk about how I'm feeling in this season. So I don't want to really touch on it, but yeah, that's kind of all I'll say because we're going to talk about it a lot in the next episode.
I think the main takeaways from this episode are honestly, 1, don't act out of your impatience. Like, I get it more than probably anyone. Go back and read, I think it's Genesis 15 to 18, where it's talking about Sarah's story. God is going to bless your desires. Like I have full confidence in that, especially if he's put something on your heart that you are so passionate about. If you were acting out of impatience, you were acting out of sin. I don't think having that desire is a sin. I've wrestled with that a lot. I am so confident in the fact that the desire that the Lord has put on your heart or these desires that you have are not sin. But if you act on it in a sinful way, you're walking in sin. And we all want what is from the Lord and what is best for our lives. And a lot of times that comes in seasons of patience. And that sucks when all your friends are getting engaged or married and things like that. And you're just so ready for that season of life. But I think also understanding that the Lord wants what's best for you and just understanding that he is a loving father as well, especially if your desire is to be a parent, understanding that God is also a parent and he sees you as a child. He wants you to have his best. And that's something we have to sit in a lot and something I have to sit in literally all of the time when I am just honestly so angry at him. But I don't think he runs away from that anger either. I think that anger is okay to bring to him and I don't need to hide it. I think for a long time I've tried to hide that I have this desire and I've tried to numb this pain with dating around or whatever else or just like grinding super hard in business. And I kind of turned away from this side of me. And I don't think that's something I need to hide from other people or something I need to hide from God. Maybe I need to cry about it a little less than I do, but that's okay nonetheless. And I've started just recording videos too of, well, my future kids will never think that they were not a desire. Like,
I love this idea that you've been doing.
like I'm going
to
church and I'm completely alone and it sucks, but man, am I so excited to like bring my kids to my husband someday. Like that's so sweet. And then it makes it very easy of, oh, a guy doesn't want to go to church with me? No, like I have these desires so clear. It makes it very clear to say no to guys who aren't going to fit into that.
Yeah, I think it's so much easier to know what you want and to wait for what you want than somebody that has no idea.
Yeah.
The path for them will be so much longer, I think. So I think also a takeaway is like, find out what you actually want.
Yeah, absolutely. Grieve this season. Like it's okay, especially if you were someone who's coming out of the back end of a relationship and you thought that like you were seeing the quote unquote finish line. It's so okay to grieve this season, but then move forward, like whatever that looks like. And I'm someone who's moved forward a million times and I've prayed the prayer of God, if you don't give me this desire, I will still pursue you. And I still mean that, but I have to rewalk through that almost every single day of I'm going to grieve this and then I'm going to take a step forward. Even if tomorrow I take 3 steps back, I'm going to keep moving forward with this every single day because there's really nothing else you can do.
Yeah. Very well said.
Thank you. I didn't cry.
Good job.
I didn't cry. Proud of myself.
I had the tissues ready.
Yeah, literally. Okay. So if you liked this episode, we will be coming out with a part 2 next week.
Yeah.
And this will be Alexis' side of the story, which is going to be entirely different. And I'm excited for it.
Yeah. It's quite different. I think we have a lot of the same views, but
yeah,
we'll get into it.
All right. Make sure to tune in next week. If you like our podcast and you want to tune in next week, make sure to subscribe, leave a comment down below. Let us know what you thought of this episode. This feels like a scary one to be like, let us know what you thought of the episode, but oh well. Anyways,
We love you guys, and let's chat soon.
bye.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/kidsandfamily. Just go to Indeed.com/kidsandfamily right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.